Hey guys, Eric here from TopFlight Trades. It is January 10th, 2015. The reason for this video is I got an email from one of our members, Henry, who had a question on a couple of stocks. I think he's looking at possibly getting in them and was kind of curious on what we thought about them and what they look like from our viewpoint. So the stocks are, the first one is YELP, of course, YELP, and the second one is OXGN, OXGN. I got a quick look at them a little bit ago, but here in a second I'm going to switch over to the screen and we're going to take a look at the stocks. We're going to look at the weekly and the daily, kind of get a big picture of what they look like and see if we have any setups in place, kind of identify the support and resistance. And then I'll also address pretty much the quick snapshot picture of their fundamentals, the health of the company, to see if they're strong companies, if they're earning any money, if they're growing, if there's investor demand for it, if there's good action. And that type of thing, and relative strength. And so we'll get into that. So right now we're going to switch over to the monitor, switch over to the screens, and take a look at this. So, hey, if you have any questions about a stock, you can always email me at Gmail, or, of course, the website, topflighttrades.com. I'm also on StockTwits as well. If you go over there, you'll find me under the same name. So I thank you very much, Henry, for submitting the question. And I thank everybody else who has interacted with me in the last few days. I love this. I'm meeting a lot of awesome people, a lot of awesome traders, and this is a lot of fun. So thanks a lot for being a member of the site, and thanks a lot for your communication. So I appreciate it. Here we go. All right, so here we are looking at YELP. This is YELP. We're looking at the weekly chart right here. So first thing I pull up, when I pull this up, this is a fairly new stock. You can see it IPO back in March 4th or so. So it doesn't have that much of a long history. You can see, though, when we started out here, went up, pulled back, down to a low of, well, went down to 14.10, it looks like. And kind of traded sideways for a bit and then finally broke into new highs and kind of took off from there. Went up to 75.73. What a nice run. Again, this is the weekly chart. Pulled back to 56, up to 101 for the all-time high, back to 49.11 or so, and then back up to 86, and then now we are back down to 56.07. Again, so obviously you can probably see it here. I drew in this support line here. Definitely looks like we got some support there right about, well, where is it, 55 maybe. Again, this is a weekly chart, so we're kind of getting a quick look at it here. I could probably bring this up a little bit if I really wanted to. Yeah, well, we'll get a closer look on the daily anyways. But we do have some support here. So kind of looking at this now, you know, I definitely see that we might be able to get a bounce off here if we can get any kind of action like we did back in here in, where's that, May. You know, that would definitely be nice to bounce from 55 off the support back up into the 80s, even 70s, 80s, or even more. So that could be a pretty good play there. We just now have the 100-day moving average in play here. We are just underneath it. The green line is our 13-day. I take that back. This is week. So it's the green is the 13-week moving average. Blue is the 100-week moving average. And gold is the 50-week moving average. The faint line you see here is a 5-week moving average, which I just try not to pay attention to, or at least that's my instruction to you. I just look at that to kind of get a quick idea on things, but I usually don't play it too much. But anyways, what I'm looking at here, so on the weekly chart here, looks pretty good. We've got some 3 out of 4 of the last weeks have been green. We're slowly creeping up a little bit. Why don't we take a look at the daily before I make any statements here? Well, let's take a look at the daily. One thing I do see right down here is the earnings. I had mentioned in the intro here that YELP has met earnings the last 3 of the 4 quarters. So let's look back here. So, well, first starting off, February 4th is when earnings were coming out, and the estimate is 7 cents per share. Well, how did we do last time? Well, earnings was 5 cents per share, and the estimate was 3, so they beat it by 2 cents, or 66%. So what I also noticed here on the weekly, I'm not sure, I didn't look back at news and that type of thing, but see, I kind of wonder with that big red volume bar if a lot of investors didn't have confidence in them meeting their expectations for earnings. And going back before that, earnings was 4 cents, and the estimate was a loss of 3 cents per share. up by 233% there. And that gave it a nice little run there. But again, right before that, look at that big red volume candle, volume bar there. Perhaps once again, not a lot of confidence. I don't know. Going back one more time, this is for period ending February 2014. Earnings expectation was a 6 cents loss, and they reported a 4-cent loss. So that was a 33% above expectations. And once again, that gave it a nice little boost. So I think the one time they didn't beat expectations was going back even further, where it was a 3-cent loss, and the street was expecting a 2-cent loss. So again, for the last three, have beat expectations. So looking ahead to this one, we might see some more selling volume here just before that, perhaps, or maybe investors now are building a little confidence in the stock. I don't know where it's at right now off this support area here. I don't think, it doesn't look like they have a lot of confidence in the stock, but I guess only time will tell. So let's take a look at the 1 day, the daily chart. Let me zoom out so we can kind of get perspective again. Okay, so as you recall, here's our computer's running a little slow today. Okay, so here we are. We just saw this. We come up, hit the support area here, broke the resistance, came up, came back a couple of times. Here we are. We're back to it. Now, again, my support line is not exact. I'm going to probably redraw it again on the daily. I'm going to put it right there. That looks a little bit better. We came down to it there. And then looking back over here, we kind of came down, kind of held a little bit. It's not perfect. It's all right. So what we're looking at here, so now we're back down to support. So it has held it here pretty good the last few days here. Let me take a quick look and see what the rest of the market's done, remind myself. Okay. So last few days, again, we're still on the daily chart. Look at the S&P, kind of really dipped there in the last 3 days. We're trying to come off that. And looking at YELP, I like to see what the stock does compared to the rest of the market. I suppose I could draw an S&P line in there, but you can see it's pretty much held that, even though the rest of the market really kind of took a dip there. This still held the support. You get that longer candle there, but here we go. And of course, you can probably notice we gapped up here on this candle on this last Friday, and it did close up above the 50-day moving average. That's good and positive, and it cleared new highs, recent highs. So I like that. So if JCap is looking to get in the stock, I think now would probably be a good time. Not considering the financials. I don't play stocks that rank as low as far as the fundamentals, but as strictly a technical side, from a technical standpoint, looking at the charts, I like this here. Did get a nice little shot of volume here. We did, of course, gap up. We closed above the 50-day moving average. We do kind of have this little short base here, which we're hopefully breaking out of. Might be good to wait another day, see how we do next week. See if we start getting another solid day here. If so, that means I think we're going to hold to get above that 50-day, and hopefully it does. And it might be a really good entry point. If you're looking at, if you already are holding this stock, of course, I don't know where you got in, but I think hopefully we might be able to keep this held above the 50-day. If we do, then I think we'll be in good shape, and this thing can continue further. If it does, looks like I would expect to see some resistance, maybe about 59. What do we got here? 62, 30, 62, 59, 62, 73. And our moving averages are up here. So, yeah, I bet if we clear this and we hold this, we might be able to get up to the 60s, low 60s, maybe at least 60. Yeah, I would say probably at least up to 60. So I'd give a good $5 run, perhaps $4 or $5 run, which could give you almost 8-9% maybe. So that's YELP. Again, earnings coming up on the 4th of February. So that is that. The next stock we're going to look at, let me jump right to the weekly. This is still YELP, by the way. Next one was OXGN, and that's Oxygen Healthcare Company. And I'm not very familiar with this stock, this company here. But let me zoom out here. once again, I like to remind you, we're looking at the weekly chart here. So we're definitely, holy smokes. Holy smokes. This was up in 2009 at $582. I wonder if that factors in some splits and other things. Holy cow. Yeah, well, I don't know. Anyways, this thing is obviously trending downward. It's, holy cow. I'm just looking at this right now, so I hope you don't mind. I kind of like doing this. That way I'm not coming into the video with anything. I wanted to give you a true assessment here. So anyways, we came down here, kind of held this area here, held this support here right about $2. And then in recent weeks, it's finally broken through. We had some earnings there. Oh, missed earnings, a 17-cent loss back in November 12th when earnings came out. And that finally dropped it down here to, I'll say that support's probably about 150. Again, this is a weekly, so it dropped it down to the next level there. Let's take a look at earnings prior to that. Oh, quarter before that, 23-cent loss. Before that, 29-cent. $1.88. 74. Holy smokes. Okay, so, all right, let me jump to the daily before I talk anymore. Here's the daily. So we're pretty much looking, boy. You know, this is really hard. This is kind of why I don't play stocks like this. The trend is clearly downward. I mean, where is it stopping? I mean, this thing would really just have to absolutely just blow my socks off to convince me that things have turned around. You know, it's times like this where you really do have to look at the fundamentals of a company when it's losing that much per share. I mean, it's, you know, when you have a fair company and it's plugging along just fine, like Coca-Cola, you know, I mean, it's still in business after all these years. And, you know, I know recently they're laying off a few people, but you know what? They're going to hold in there. But like companies like this, it's like, holy cow. I don't know how much longer they're going to be in business. I don't know this company very well, but again, you're seeing what I'm seeing right now. I didn't sit and stew over this for hours before we looked at it. But so what I see here, I mean, here, this thing's been coming up here the last few weeks here. Looks like it's going to want to try to find new highs, but, you know, again, you got the 50-day moving average here right above it. That may prevent it. And then right above that, you have the 100-day. Now let's look at the 100-day. You know, 200-day was almost some resistance back there. This is just hard. I would suggest not getting in this whatsoever. I think Market Smith and IBD rated this an E. Yeah, or a D. It's not good. So basically, you know, there's no growth, no sales, no earnings, no investor demand, no relative strength. This thing's just petering out like a balloon with a hole in it. And if you're in this, I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep knocking your stock here, but I hope you're not into it. If you are, you probably should sell. Yeah, that's a real positive thing there, Eric. But yeah, that's just the deal. I certainly wouldn't tell you to get in this. And even just looking at the stock technically here, I don't think this thing has the strength to even clear above 182. Maybe so, but I mean, I really don't see any sign of this thing turning around right now. And when we looked at some of the stocks here, we looked at some stocks, some kind of low priced. We called them pennies in my last video, which was 2 hours. The video was 2 hours long. I don't think you probably watched the whole thing. But we looked at a few stocks, and then they were stocks I normally don't play. Let me jump to one. One is Salt. Okay. And what was unique about this that kind of caught my eye is this thing had fallen, and then we started to kind of form a base here. Okay. It's not a very big one. And then now we're starting to move. Doesn't mean this thing's going to go back up there at all. But you know, a stock can suffer and then form a base. And, you know, this just doesn't do it. You know, this doesn't have a base. It's still falling. What's the last one we looked at? Yelp. Okay. What I like about Yelp, if it'll pull up here, I mean, it really didn't, but it's come down to this area. We have a history of support in this area. Okay. So that's easy for me to put a plan together. So going back to Yelp right now, if I were to get into Yelp, I would put a stop not far under the support area. I'd probably do it underneath this candle here. So in the 48s. Okay, that might even be too far with this one, frankly. But you know, I know where to put my stop. I can be here, and then if it fails that area again and goes down, well then that's great, and it can only go up, kind of a thing. But with OXGN, even right now, I would not put my stop down here. That's, good Lord, what percentage is that? I would have to put it down there, 25% stop loss. I just wouldn't do it. It's just, I don't like the setup. I don't like the company. So that's my view of OXGN. So, JCap, I'm sorry for the bad review in OXGN, but that's just that's my input. So hopefully that steers you from a purchase. There are plenty of other stocks out there. I'm not sure where you may have heard from this company, or maybe you're really familiar with it and maybe you have hope and faith in its product. I don't know, but there are plenty of other stocks out there that have much better setups, even cheaper ones at $1 or $2. There are some good ones out there, and I'll try to highlight some. They're not ones that I certainly endorse or would throw on my premium picks list, but there are good setups out there, and I'm going to start to try to share those. Again, I don't encourage anybody really to get into them, but they are good setups. And we looked at one today, as a matter of fact. In the video, if you watched, Ryder and I were on for a while, and we were going over some stocks, and this is Excelsis, okay? This is one that I kind of picked as one that kind of looked good. And then in our video today, you know, we were on for a couple hours looking through stocks. And this one really, after we talked about it, this thing started to look kind of good from a technical standpoint, not the company. I don't even know where the company is. The company, it's rated a D or something like that. I mean, again, it's priced at $1.76 for a reason. But I kind of like this setup. It gapped down. I forget the news, you know. It's a pharmaceutical or a healthcare company, so who knows what, but it obviously gapped down, fell through its support, came down here. You know, you can almost even see a little cup and handle in here. But anyways, what we're doing here is now we're starting to make new highs, you see. And this thing is actually starting to show some strength here in the last week. Doesn't mean it's going to take off and go back up to $5. Maybe it will. I mean, it could. There's a big gap to fill here. But now this one, from a technical standpoint, looks pretty good. And look at the moving average here, the 100-day moving average, heading straight down at that angle. More than likely, we're going to break above it. Okay, I don't think we're going to be held down by that, but we're going to break above that and probably get into new highs here. So it looks like, you know, 181. At least we'll get up above it, and you know, once it starts climbing, and you know, we get some news or some momentum here. I think this thing could possibly fill this gap and head up to $3. Could go up to $4, and it could go from there. I'm not too familiar with this company either. This is just a technical viewpoint, technical analysis here. Okay. So anyways, that's kind of my thing on OXGN. Sorry to take so long with this, but I'll back off that for now. So, and JCap, hey, thanks for your comments. Thanks for, I'm glad you're enjoying the site. I'm glad you're enjoying the videos and everything like that. I do try to bring value to you. That's one thing. I have a good time doing this. I love doing this stuff, and if I can be of help to you, it's my pleasure, and I truly do hope that you find value and that we contribute here. And hey, and while I'm at it, I definitely look for your contributions as well. On the website here, I do have some forums up there I'm working on, and I'm trying to make sure everybody can see them, but I'm be looking for your trade ideas as well. You know, I like to give suggestions on that, and I have my systems and all that I'm willing to share. But I'm definitely looking to hear more from you on some of these setups that you like and why. Again, we're all here to learn, and we all have different backgrounds, different levels of experience, different strategies, and that's what we need to capture. And it's the community that I want. So I definitely appreciate you being a member, and I definitely appreciate your question and all that. So thanks a lot. I appreciate it. So, and thanks to Ryder today for joining me in a video for 2 hours. We had a good time. So, hey, thanks everybody. Enjoy your Saturday night. Turn off your computer. Go spend time with your family and friends, and enjoy tomorrow. And we'll see you around. So thanks a lot for watching. And this is Eric from TopFlight Trades. Talk to you soon.